music for the morning. Sunday morning here. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. I never drink Nescafe. I'm drinking tea actually right now, milk and honey. Um, Today's a big day, Big week, big day. Um, Today's a big day because Sid, our lovely cat, is finally getting neutered. He's being taken in and he's getting the snip snip. Yeah, he's getting the snip today. So hopefully some of the craziness that he exhibits just about every minute of every day will subside a little bit. Maybe it'll take the edge off. And Nicholas is quite upset about it, but it's for the best. We don't want 4 or 5 little kittens running around our house. So uh, where is Lala? Lala's been dead for a couple of years. Um, yeah. So what else is going on? Well, there's a lot going on, and I'm going to get right to it here. I just came across this, and then somebody sent it to me, and then I saw it in the news, and you know, right now Americans, it's very difficult, near impossible to get in for if you're a tourist. You can get in. Um, you can get in if you are married to a Thai, or you are on a retirement visa, or you get a retirement visa, or you have a business visa, something like that. You can get in, but it's not easy. Now, this might come as a shock to some of you, but just as of, I believe it was the 5th of this month, non-Thai nationals, the qualifications for a tourist visa, single entry, non-Thai nationals must have a bank account with no less than $17,000 or 500,000 baht each month for the last 6 months. And that you hear me correctly. You need $17,000 in your bank account. And this I do not believe it applies to Americans, but it is on the Thailand DC embassy website, which is the main website for information in the United States for Americans. All right, so I'm going to put the link here. Odie is outside. He's doing fine. Same old, same old. It's good tea. So, yeah, for those who are interested, I'm not sure why they're doing this. I don't know what their goal is aside from getting people who maybe have more money, but and maybe that will limit the number of tourists coming in. I don't know the exact reasoning because they don't give the reasons for it. They just say these are the qualifications. So in addition to all the other qualifications that you need to have, such as the certificate, let's see here, you got to have the test, you got to have obviously the visa, your passport, 2 passport photos, the application, the declaration form, medical insurance, confirmation of booking of alternate state quarantine. Now, there has been some talk in the last week of reducing the number of days from 14 days to 10 days. This applies to Americans, and I'm going to say it applies to others as well, but I can't be sure of that at this point. So don't want to give out any fake news, but it is on the DC website. But it does say non-Thai nationals. So, I don't know if that means, because it's on the the Thailand DC embassy website, if it's meant only for Americans or if this is for elsewhere. I can probably check in a second here, but confirmation of booking of the quarantine hotel, self-addressed return envelope and visa fee, which is $40 for a single visa if the applicant doesn't have a valid visa. A copy of the bank statement. This is 2.8 on their list. Number 2.8, a copy of the bank statement for the last 6 months. The balance of each month must have no less than $17,000 or 500,000 baht. At the departure airport, need to have a certificate of entry issued by the Royal Thai Embassy or Royal Thai Consulate General, which I believe is in, they have one in Los Angeles. Health certificate fit to fly issued no more than 72 hours before departure. Medical insurance that will cover a minimum of 100,000 US dollars. Medical certificate with the laboratory result indicating that COVID-19 is not detected issued no more than 72 hours before departure. Upon entry, travelers arriving in Thailand must present the following documents: the certificate and the declaration form. The medical certificate where you show that you were using the RT-PCR test issued no more than 72 hours before departure, the fit to fly, the insurance. And then if you're granted entry, you go to the quarantine for, at the time, right now, it's 2 weeks, 14 days. Well, you know, that was my first thought. And the perception is that by many people, many foreigners that I've spoken to, that you're not welcome here. Now, I think what it is maybe is that they are, how can I say this, overly cautious. They don't want this place turning into a place that is known for, I mean, they're already in bad shape. Imagine if they get a second wave. So maybe this is their way of keeping people out. My thing is, how long is this going to be in place? Is this a permanent, these are permanent guidelines, or what's the deal? And I'm going to do a video. I've been meaning to do it, and I'm going to do it. Basically, there's a few people who I've talked to who, because of the political state in the United States, they've considered coming to Thailand. They've considered moving here. There are people that I know that have told me they know people that want to come here. So there's a lot of people who are interested in Thailand still to come in here. So for whatever reason, there is still the allure of Thailand is still fairly strong. Weekly report. And I want to do a video. I don't want to really talk about that in the stream, but I'm going to do a video of the reasons that you may want to come here. This is to move here, and the reasons that you may not want to. And I'm not sure how I'm going to release it or where I'm going to release it, if it's going to be on YouTube or what. I'm not really sure yet because I have a list of things to talk about. But if you're a tourist, see, this is the thing. If you're a tourist, if I were a tourist right now, which I am a tourist when it comes to traveling elsewhere, for me, it's very difficult to get back in here. For others, if they're a tourist, it may be difficult to get out of their country. It might be difficult to get back in their country. The other thing is that you are still taking a chance. Say what you will about the COVID. Believe it, don't believe it. I really don't know what to believe at this point. I don't know what to believe in politics. I don't know what to believe with this COVID. Really don't know. And that's when I get to that point where I'm like overloaded with thinking about this and it's better for me. I just shut off. I just don't worry about it. And when it comes to being a tourist in Thailand, the only reason that I think about it is because there's a lot of people that message me or that we talk about this. A lot of people ask about it. If you're an American tourist, I think your chances are fairly limited to get in here. And even if you are capable of coming in, you do want to come here. First of all, you should think about the danger in flying, the hassle, and is it really worth coming, not necessarily to Thailand, but anywhere, flying halfway across the world or 10 hours or whatever it might be to go to a foreign country. And, there's part of me that I'm like, the grass is always greener. And I know that there are a lot of people going, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. Really? Are you going to die if you don't get out of there? Maybe if you would die from the COVID if you're in the wrong place. I don't know. Or some riot or something like that. But the truth is that if you just stay where you are, you're probably going to be all right. It sucks. It really does. It sucks. What sucks to me is not that I'm at home, for me, and for others, I believe as well. I don't think that it sucks that you're at home and you're like, oh, I get to chill out and binge watch Netflix or whatever you want to do, read a book. But I think it's the knowing, and I said this the other day, I think it's knowing that going out of the country is extremely difficult, that makes people kind of feel like they are shackled. And that's kind of how I feel. I mean, really, to be honest, I do feel shackled. I can go anywhere in Thailand, and there's a lot of places to go. For me, it's always a challenge to figure out a place that I haven't gone already that I really want to go to, and it's worth making the effort. I said to my wife, I said, hey, maybe at the end of the month or next month, beginning of the month, when the kids are both out of school, we can go somewhere for a couple of days. She's like, you really want to go somewhere? She goes, you really want all of us to go somewhere? And then I think about it and I think, maybe it's just too much of a hassle. So I don't know why someone would want to fly halfway across the world, say from the United States, and go through all the trouble to get into the country. And you can't stay. I believe there's a way you can stay for 270 days, and I don't know if that. I don't believe that. Where's it at? Let me see here. Yeah, I don't believe this is not the same one though. This is the TR visa, single entry visa, not the special tourist visa, which I don't believe is available for the United States. So I guess for the United States, this is all that you can get, a single entry visa, which I believe would be good for 60 days with an extension. And here's another thing, and I've been thinking about this a lot. Listen, people like sex. It's just the bottom line. And men who aren't getting it, they want to get it. But I guess, if you got ample funds and you're that desperate that you need to fly halfway across the world to get a piece of ass, okay, I guess, I get it. But it's not like some of the places they're cracking. I mean, it's not like everywhere you go, hey, man, that place is kicking. No, they're not kicking. And, maybe that's a good thing, I don't really know. I know in Pattaya there are places to go. But I guess, it's just, I don't understand the draw at this point. I understand women. Men want women. Of course I understand that. I don't know that the value, like per night, value per nut, or whatever however you want to figure it out. I don't know that the value is there at the moment and that the risk is worth it. Because, you can always come here and maybe you contract it and then you're stuck and you're going to piss away all that money. So, and the thing is there are other places to go. It's not like there's nowhere to go. What was the name of that? Forget the name of it. I always forget this websites. website. Wanderlust, that's what it is. Need my glasses here, but I will say that there is a lot of negativity geared towards this 500,000 baht per month. And I guess, if you are a millionaire and you got plenty of money, you're like, hey, that's no big deal. I got plenty of dough in the bank. That's all I got to do is go through these. I got to jump through these hoops. I'll just pay somebody to take care of everything that they can take care of for me, and I'll take care of whatever I have to take care of on my own, and I'll just go and fly. I'll get myself a first class ticket, and I'll go, fly that way. I can understand that, and that's what Thailand may be after. But I think at this point they're going to take whatever they can get. Okay, I think really they're going to take whatever they can get. Albania has been open for quite some time. Let me see here. I got the site up here. These are just telling me about UK travelers. North America. Wow. Travelers who have been to the UK, Ireland, Shenzhen Zone, Iran, Brazil, or China within the last 14 days will be denied entry to the U.S. U.S. citizens and permanent residents of the U.S., certain specified close family members, and certain other limited categories of visa holders, such as UN staff and diplomats, are exempt. Canadian authorities are barring entry to Canada, including at its borders with the U.S., to most foreign nationals, including British nationals. Mexico, there are commercial flights open. There are places open. And there are places where you just, you get your test and you go in. If one were retiring in Thailand, it would be worth the hassle to travel in Japan. Well, here's the other thing, okay? You say that it's worth the hassle. I can tell you, I'm here, and you know what? As much as I might complain, I might sound like an old lady. I'm bitching and moaning about things. Gives me something to do. I'm glad I'm here because I feel safe. I do feel safe. However, like I said, you will feel shackled, and I can tell you that I've spoken to Jono many times, and both of us have wanted to be able to go back to the United States, but it was such a hassle to get back. We were like, it's better just to stay. And my concern is that this will be a long-term solution for what really, I don't think that the crackdown doesn't need to be so harsh. And that's what concerns me. What concerns me is that it's not going to be for another 3 months. Oh, until the vaccine. Well, what happens if there's no vaccine? It's not going to be until the middle of next year. It's going to be for another 3 years or 5 years. Or let's just say that things are better and they open up. But if you want to get in, every time you come in, you have to show $5,000 in the bank for the last 6 months, or $17,000. I can tell you that there are not a lot of people, from what I know, there are not a huge number of people sitting on a spare $17,000 in the United States after they haven't been working. I don't know, maybe they've been saving up their unemployment checks that they got before, the $600 a week. But I don't think that people who have half a brain and who aren't thinking with the little head are not saying, I'm going to piss away what money I have, and I'm going to show I'm going to be able to show $17,000 for 6 months. I mean, 6 months, it means you got to start planning now, or you either need to have the money. So for people who have money, yeah, of course it's easy. Just about everything when it comes to the specifics of living here. If you have the money, you want to buy an elite visa, you buy an elite visa. You want to pay for one. whatever you need to do. If you have the money, if you want to retire, you show enough funds in the account and you can retire. You want to get a marriage visa, the same. You want to start a business, have at it, but if you don't know what you're doing, I wouldn't recommend that. And all that takes money. So what I'm wondering is this going to be something long term, and is this the way, how can I say this? Is the COVID the catalyst to changing Thailand from a backpacker destination to what Thailand really wants, which is a higher end destination? And will higher end people, freer spenders, will they want to jump through all these hoops and come to Thailand? So it's not really for me to say. I mean, I have my opinions. I personally don't. I find it a bit touchy. I think that there's a lot of people out there, they got plenty of money, and they're like, I don't want to go through the hassle. Yeah, for the 5-year one. It's only 5 years. So this is the thing, if you're a young person, like I'm talking about if you're 30, unless you have a boatload of money, and I'm not talking about, I make $3,000 a month off of the internet or, something like that. Listen, I've been here and I've had money, not had money, and I can tell you that when you have money, it's much easier to get things done. And if you're just earning every month, that doesn't cut it. If you are a youngster. Now, if you are willing to spend $1 million baht, 33,000, and this is another thing that you might want to think about, is that because of the election, who knows where the dollar is going. Hopefully it will be stable, but at the moment it's 30.63, and it's dropped down from about 31.3, 31.5 a week 2 weeks ago. So you think about that. That's a couple of points. I mean, that's a point. What is that? That's a point, almost a point. So if you transfer in $2,000-$3,000 a month, it does work out. It's painful. You're losing money, and that's the other thing. What happens if it goes down to 27, 26? Man, it's not good for expats. So there's a lot to think about. And, I found that interesting to see, wow, you're going to have to show that money now. And, the thing is I looked at Cambodia, and I'm not exactly sure of all their guidelines right now, but I was under the impression it was something like $3,000 or $3,500 as a deposit, and you paid for your test, you paid for a night in a hotel, and as long as everything was okay, you were allowed to go out and do your thing. But they have less deaths in Cambodia than they do in Thailand. Now, maybe that's because they're not testing as much. I don't know. Maybe that's because people, they have it or they've gotten sick and they just don't tend to go to the hospital. Whereas in Thailand, there are far more hospitals. And so far more people are tested, So, let me see here. Cambodia is way down on the list. Oops. Let's see here. Coronavirus. All right. This thing will come up here. A little bit slow to load. Colombia is open to tourism. You will need a negative PCR test no older than 96 hours before flying. You will not need to quarantine if you have proof of negative test. You must fill this form before flying, and you must follow the rules of the Corona app. Be aware that land and sea borders are still closed. I think that's fantastic, Okay, here's something else, though. This is Costa Rica, but let me get back to this coronavirus here. Before I go any further, I want to thank my Patreon patrons. Hang on one second, and I'll name some of them. Appreciate everybody watching. All right, in Cambodia, where are we here? Vietnam was 1,213 people, 35 dead, but I believe they are still shut down. Cambodia, 295 cases, 0 deaths. 0 deaths. So, I don't know what the reason for that is, but it tells you something. All right, let me see this here. What is this? Is this the insurance policy for Costa Rica? Costa Rica, you need to have insurance purchased through their insurance company. Does it tell you how much it is? No. I'll have to figure that out. Hang on a second here. All right, so now, I said that the quarantine time was, they're in talks right now. The government's in talks, negotiating whether or not they want to reduce the number of days of the quarantine from 14 to 10. The Thai Travel Agent Association urges quarantine-free tourism. Travel bubbles said to be crucial for industry's survival. Setting up travel bubbles between low-risk countries without quarantine requirements is crucial to help the tourism industry as there is pent-up demand for outbound trips, said the Thai Travel Agents Association. If there is no rapid escalation of cases in Thailand or overseas, tourism sentiment would gradually improve by next June, starting with tourists from Southeast Asia, especially if entry without a mandatory quarantine is allowed. First step would be a reciprocal agreement allowing Thai outbound travel operators to start recouping this market by filling departure flights. Yeah, I mean, okay, it's great, but all this travel bubble and, this reciprocal, I don't know that it's going to work. I still think that it's a bit limiting. And I know it's probably the smart way to do things, but I don't know. The key, what I would think, is that you're going to get enough tourists to actually make it to where the companies can stay in business and they can prosper. They're not going to go out of business. And I don't know if they're just concentrating on these travel bubbles, if that will work. But who knows? Listen, I don't know everything, and all I know is I look at it and I go, I trust my gut, But like I said, Cambodia, 295 total cases. They have 7 active cases right now. Cayman Islands, 250 total cases, 1 death. Bermuda, 209, 9 deaths. I mean, those are some great places also. St. Bart, 90 cases. I don't know. I'm going to have to see if those places are open, though. Hawaii is owned by Japan. Any kind of quarantine. I wouldn't wear a tracker bracelet. Well, if that's the case, Longhorns, then why were they discussing this travel bracelet that you had to wear? I think they're just going, they're just trying to figure something out. I mean, it's easy to knock them. And listen, I have my doubts about some of the things that they're doing and whether it'll work or not. But so what's the solution then? Just open up. It's easy for me to say, listen, I think we should just open up, socially distance, take our chances, and, wear masks. And the thing is, if you're wearing a mask and washing your hands, then what are you concerned about? Why do we have to concern ourselves so much? I never have understood that. If you are socially distancing properly and you're washing your hands, and you're doing everything that you should be doing. But see, here in Thailand now, I mean, like, you walk through any door, and they will have temperature checkers, and they will have the automatic checkers. But people are not signing in and out. They're not doing anything. They're not using the app. I don't even remember what the app was. I don't even remember the name of the app now. Let me see something here. How much? Okay. Okay, so Costa Rica travel insurance. Okay, here we go. Tourists are required to purchase travel insurance. Well, I mean, you know, everybody should have travel insurance no matter where they go. Now, these insurance companies, though, I think most of them are basically bending over their customers just to no end. Let's see here. Travel insurance for Costa Rica. I think the insurance needs to be. I think instead of making this a money grab, why don't you make it a human, uh, you know, a human thing where you make a little money, but you're not bending people over and just nailing them. Okay. In addition, insurance should cover $2,000 in lodging expenses. Blah 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 blah. Money saving tip. If you're not insured, yeah, it doesn't tell you. It doesn't give me a price. I want the price. But their insurance that they accept is looks like it's much less than what the Thai insurance was. Okay, fortunately for U.S. residents only, Safe Travels Voyager Insurance provides such coverage and is cost effective. Well, let's see. Okay, here we go. It doesn't ever tell you the price. Plan benefits, okay. Brochure, refundable, blah, 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 blah. Let's see if I can get a price from these people. Benefits. All right. Yeah, they don't give you a price. Sometimes they'll have the price. You don't have to go through all the rigmarole of filling everything in, and they have charts to tell you the approximate price. But for this, they're not doing that. But they do say here they got $1 million emergency evacuation and repatriation, 750 dental, 250,000 medical coverage. This one is supposedly, oh, here we go, quotes and purchase. Let's see if I can get a quick quote. Of course you gotta. Origin, United States. Destination, what did I say, Costa Rica? Costa Rica. Coverage starts, let's say it starts Monday. And it ends in, what, 1 month? How about 3 months? All right. Trip deposit date. Okay. Okay. Date of birth. Why do they make it such a pain in the ass to do this? All right, so there we are. We're just going to say this. Trip cost $5,000. And I'm from Florida. Get a quote. Your quote, $740.89. That's for a month. No, that's for 3 months. Okay. 3 months. I got $1 million U.S. Travel policy for 3 months, 350 geo. Well, here's the thing. I'm not saying that you're the one that you have is not better, but it's always subject to who has the higher limits and um, you know what are the exclusions and that kind of thing. But I'm just looking at it real quick. It was just trying to do a real quick one. Update. We are showing some long-term visits. Who can enter? So you're allowed to come in from the United States. If you want to go to Costa Rica, you're allowed to go in, which I find interesting. But I mean, they're right there, and they probably need the passengers, the tourism. Anyway, I digress. $750. I wonder what it is uh, for longer. Do you have to use Thailand's covenant? I believe that they have a list of acceptable insurance companies. I don't think it's only some Thai insurance company. I believe there are others that you're allowed to. The last I heard, you were allowed to, but who knows? Let's see here. Oh, let's see here. Gotta do one more thing here. Forgot all about this. Where are we? Let's just get out of there. Visa. Okay. Let's see here. There's a large portion of Thais who still want to witness world-famous sporting events if they take place. Yeah. What about the Olympics in Japan? Half of the 800 outbound tour operators that are TTAA members are temporarily closed. Let me get back to my insurance thing over here if I can find it. What happened to it? P3. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Can't find it. Let's see here. Hang on. Now, speaking of travel bubbles and quarantines, Thailand is considering a no quarantine travel bubble with China. Now, I got to say that yesterday I was in the mall. I was in the mall Bangkok. And, there are very, very few Westerners in the mall. I mean, there can't be more than a half a dozen in the whole mall. I mean, maybe a dozen on a busy day. Don't really see, from all the walking around that I've seen, don't see any Chinese in the mall either. So yesterday I'm walking over, they got a Japanese food festival going on. I went over and I was using my little Sony camera that I have. And I walk over to this Japanese thing and I hear them speaking in English. They go on this big, long ramble about how, now's the time to buy, get your specials and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, who are they talking to? This is Thailand. It's not like there is a huge number of tourists. Even when there are tourists in the country, there's not a huge number of tourists in the Mall Bangkok. Okay? I mean, there are some foreigners. Maybe if in the whole place, there's 50 foreigners, if that. Shit. But so then what gets me is they start speaking in Chinese. And I'm like, how many Chinese can there really be in the mall Bunkapi right now? Why are they doing that? Are they preparing? Do they expect there to be a large number of Westerners and Chinese in the mall Bunkapi? I just don't get it, man. And I just stood there for a second. I go, what am I listening to? Why are they speaking in all these languages? And it was clear. It was live. It wasn't a recording from before or something like that. It was live. Shit, did I just go into the wrong one again? Yeah, I did. Hang on a second here. I'm looking for something. Let's see here. Thank you, Clifton Morris. Thank you. It's interesting. You've been here for a few weeks. What was your? How did you manage to get in? Getting backed up here on the computer. It is starting to get slow here. Oh, you've only been to Thailand for a few weeks. Oh, I got you. Okay. I just wondered if you came in and how you got in. If you were on a tourist, some kind of a tourist visa, or how. But because I know 3 people now that have got in, but none of them were tourists. Let's see here. What is the error that I'm getting? What is this error message? YouTube is not receiving enough. Blah blah blah. Okay. Means I need to reduce the windows here. Okay. There's a couple ways that I look at the situation now. There is part of me that, hey, listen, I would love to. Has John expressed feelings of leaving Bangkok yet? You mean Jono? I think Jono would like to leave if he feels like leaving. But right at the moment, I don't believe he wants to. But I think a couple of months ago, he had planned to, and then he didn't. All right, let me give a big shout out to the Patreon patrons. We got Ralph, Carl, Carlos, Aless, Billy Ray, Elaine, Jono, and Jack. And then we've got, let's see here. We've also got, let's see here. There's Mr. Zachariah. Can't forget Mr. Zachariah. So thank you very much for being Patreon patrons. I appreciate that. And let me see here. We got some others that I want to get to. Let's see here. Okay. Thank you to GoGoHopping.com, Patty Bob, Leigh Ellen Shrey, Mr. Henry, Mr. Charles, Mr. Richard, Mr. LH, Mr. Jim, and Mr. Steve Moore. Thank you all very much. Appreciate the support. If you'd like to continue supporting the channel, you can always just watch, but also there are various ways in the description. I'll let you guys look for the way that you prefer, but Patreon's good, PayPal's good, Cash App's always good, blah, blah, blah. They're always good. T-shirts are always good. See, what happened to my, is that special still going on? I think it's over now, that promotion. Let's see. Oh, no, that promotion is over on, what's today? It's over at 12 o'clock today in the United States. 12 o'clock midnight. So if you use the code RED2020, you get 10% off all T-shirts and coffee mugs. So anyway, let's move on past all that. Oh, where was I at here? Oh yeah, the travel bubble. You got no quarantine for the Chinese. I mean, my trust level, I was thinking about this yesterday. My trust level is at an all-time low. I don't think I've ever been less trusting of governments, government officials, corporations, and human beings on the whole. I don't think I've ever had, my level of trust has never been this low. Never in my life. Do I have the air on? Hey, Nikki! See if I can bring Sid in here before he gets his nuts cut off. Nick? Poor Nick. I mean, poor Sid. Not poor Nick, poor Sid. Hey, can you bring Sid in here for a minute? Yeah. We just want to say hello. Here he is. He's getting bigger now. Do you feel bad that he's getting his nuts chopped today?
Not really.
Not really? You're over it now? You know it's good for it. It's for the better. We don't want a bunch of little kittens running around here. Yeah. And maybe he won't be quite so crazy, although we do like that about him. He's a little, even though he's a pain in the neck sometimes. I just don't want him pissing and, spraying and, like on my bed or, ow! Don't fucking bite me, you little. Now he's getting worked up. Has he been running around?
No.
Has he been crazy or has he been sleeping?
He's been chill.
He's been chill? Oh. It stinks. It smells like tuna. His mouth smells like tuna. He looks like a lion. Hey, stop biting me. All right, so this is Sid. Sid's gotten a little bit bigger now. I want to be sure I don't grab him by his unit. He's gotten a little bigger in the last couple of weeks. Since he's last been on the air. And generally he's okay, but he does get a bit crazy. He gets crazy with trying to... He jumps up on the sofa and wants to scratch things up. What? When are you leaving?
I'm not.
You're not going?
No.
She's going alone?
Yeah, I got studying to do.
Oh. Nikki's got studying to do. No, not Sid after Sid Vicious. Sid after Sid Barrett. Sid Vicious is with an I. Sid Barrett is with the Y. So. Hey. You don't want to be on the air? He's wearing his wife beater anyway. Bye, Sid. See you when you come back with no testicles. Sid, no testicles. Sid, the cat with no testicles. Yeah, Sid Barrett. Sid Barrett. There we go. All right, so what else was I going to talk about? Thai Airways. You know, I for the life of me, I don't understand Thai Airways either. You know, sometimes I've got so many things that I just don't understand. I'm like, why is it this way? The election is something, why is it that there are so many possible um, problems with the election, and all those problems are in Democrat states. Why is that? Is it because the Republicans set it up that way? Is it because the Democrats are actually cheating? What is it? And why is it that the media believes that they can just declare a victor when it's not finalized? Why is it that we are still not opening up for the COVID? Is it that dangerous? Why? I got all these things. So at some point I just go, Longhorns, I'll let you do that if you want to do it, all right? You can come on over here to Pleasure. I'll let you can take him to your hotel room. You can do all that, all right? Listen, I don't want any more kittens. Thank you very much, Mr. Clifton Morris. I appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. You are the first and only super chat or donation of any kind. So, Choke D, good luck to you, and thank you. Yeah, well, Thai Airways is in deep trouble, and they've been in trouble for a while. Bankrupt Thai Airways International has put 34 passenger aircraft from its fleet up for sale, hoping to find buyers by November 13th. So they're going to try to find buyers in the next 5 days. The airline said it is expected to deliver the planes to buyers by the second quarter of next year. The deadline for those interested in buying is November 13th. They did not provide other details. The sale is believed to be part of a plan to modernize their fleet. The airline has been bleeding money for years. It finally sought help, and the bankruptcy court approved a business rehabilitation plan this year after the coronavirus pandemic caused the grounding of most of its fleet, adding to its liquidity woes. The airline is in debt to the tune of 332 billion baht, according to figures posted on the Stock Exchange of Thailand website. 5,000 employees have signed up for the company's early retirement scheme. With most of the planes sitting on the ground, the bankrupt airline turned to selling deep-fried dough or patong go from the outlets to generate some revenue, and it became so popular that it plans to franchise the business. Now that's the stuff. The deep-fried dough is the stuff that they put in. Like they have it across the street at the. Can you guys hear this? This is one of the negatives of living in a village. It could also be a positive if they're selling something that you want. I don't know what he's selling. I can't really hear it, but he's selling something for 20 baht. Anyway, the patong ko is a little fried dough, and across the street we have kway boat noodles, and the lady will put those in my soup. You don't have to have them, but you'll put them in if you want them, and they're really good. And also, They put him in what the hell's it called? Joke. The rice porridge. It's very, very good. So, it's pretty. When you think about it, he's not selling love for sale. This is something too that I think if you don't spend time in an area where, like if you spend all your time in a tourist area, in a red light district, in some of the Isan villages where they're flat out open about, oh, you're a foreigner, oh, you must have big money, let me marry off my daughter to you, you know, um, and maybe some of them are on the up and up, and they just want a better life for their daughter, and as long as you're good to them, that's fine. But some of them are not. They're just looking for the payoff. But if you don't get out of these tourist areas, then most people will never know that. There are a lot of Thai women. They are a little bit more risque than they used to be, for sure. But there are a lot of Thai women that, you touch them, and they'd be like, eh. You can't even, it's not like you're going to go, oh, you're so lovely, thank you so much. And I've talked about this before. I had this one old guy was at a restaurant. I think it was at a bus stop or something. I was waiting for the bus to come back from the border or something like that, or I crossed over from Cambodia. I was waiting for the bus, and so I went over. Near the bus stop was a Star is easy to find, man. You can find Star all the time. You just have to really look for it. But, it's very easy. When you go in the market, you just have to make sure you're looking in the right areas. But I always find it without any trouble. You can find the bags where they've already taken the beans out, or you get the long strips. Those are a little bit more difficult. But maybe it has to do with, whether they're in season or not. I don't know. Because my wife, we always have them. We always have Star. In the Bangkok market? I don't know. I just walked by there day before yesterday, and they had plenty of them. You always have to look by the curry or the Muslim food or whatever. That's where it usually is. But who knows? Maybe by afternoon they're sold out. I don't know. Could be. Let's see here. Oh, what was I going to say before? What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. I was with this guy. We're out in this little restaurant, and he was an older guy. He was like, I don't know, 70 years old or something. I don't remember. But he was old. He was a lot older than I was, and he was a nice guy. But there was a girl who was serving him, and he was giving her props for the food. Oh, this is so good. It's so wonderful. And, I'm like, yeah, it's good. Yeah, okay, whatever. Listen, good Thai food is the norm, So I don't get too excited about it unless it's extraordinary. But anyway, he's telling her, how good the food is. And she comes over and he grabs her hand. And she went, ah! she was, hey? Like, why? Because they always go, why? Or I, or whatever they say. They make some sound, And he was like, oh, I'm sorry. And she just goes, and she walked away. And I go, hey, you do know that, they don't like it when you touch them. You don't know her. She doesn't want you touching her, But he was under the impression that, hey, it's no problem if you touch them because you can touch Thai girls. Because everywhere that he had been in the tourist areas where the red light district, and he had been able to sit down at a bar and, basically just put his hand on some girl, and she didn't complain because they wanted his money, you know. Peace, man. What's happening? How's your trip going? Mr. Dre got in. He came in. And are you planning on leaving anytime soon? Or what's the deal? Yeah, Thais are very, very conservative. And you wouldn't know it. I mean, listen. Uh, Once you get to know them, that's a different story. You get behind closed doors. You're in the house or whatever. I mean, they're just as freaky and as any other nationality. I mean, if you play your cards right, they're like a flower opening up. You first know them, and I don't know that this is any different than anywhere else, but I mean, you get to know them a little bit, and they start opening up and being a little more open with their feelings and their expressions and their conversation. And then, once you get close to them and then you start getting to really know them and get a little more intimate with them, then, forget about it. And, one of the big misconceptions here is that, the Thai girls are so subservient and they're so gentle and tame, and that's really, for the most part, 99.9% of them are not like that at all. They may be like that when you're just a customer and they're waiting on you, but that's about it. So I think, there's a lot of preconceived notions. Well, public displays of affection are frowned upon. And, they are a little more open. And, here's the thing. This is this is where it gets a little bit contradictory. I mean, I can go to the mall, and I've talked to a lot of people about this. I can go to the mall and, see some girl who's wearing a pair of short shorts where she's got long legs, beautiful long legs. She got short shorts and a half-top shirt on showing her belly. Maybe she has a little jacket over it so she doesn't look completely slutty. Or sometimes they'll wear a pair of shorts and they'll wear like a little, I don't know, like a wrap or something that's see-through. So you can still see their legs. So they're not quite as conservative as they were 50 or so years ago, which, by the way, if you want to see some older videos, as opposed to a few other things, and I'm working on my website all the time, but if you go to my website at americaninbangkok.com, I'm starting to curate, starting to find some older videos from around the internet, mainly on YouTube, but and there are some, like I'm looking at one right now. It's Thailand from 1900 to 1960, and you'll see if you go to the website, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 girls in their bikinis, and not one of them, well, in their swimsuits rather, and not one of them is wearing a bikini. Okay, and this is obviously an older video. It had to be from the 50s or 60s. I mean, the girls are from an older period of time. They look like they're from the 50s or the 60s. But I also have some Thai music on. I've been putting some Thai music up. There's a 1953 travel log, Pattaya Beach, 1984. Oh, shit. Thailand in the 60s and 70s. There's all kinds of stuff on there. So, it might be worth a look. You might want to take a look. Things are going to continue to change. It's just a matter of how much they change. Thailand is more and more modern, and it's more open to westernization, at least when it comes to technology and business. But when it comes to everything else, they still are traditional in many ways. Let me see here. I'm missing something. Cannot. Let's see. Anyway, let me put that. The link is in the description, but I'll also put it up here. There you go. What my, like I've said, my thing, really, what my main concern right now is not getting COVID or anything like that. It's nothing like that now. Nor is it, oh, will I be able to leave and come back? It's how long is this going to go on? That's the big thing, because we could be, for all we know, we could be in the, how come that's not a link? We could be at the very beginning of this whole COVID. It might go on for another 10 years. We don't know. Is that going to work? Yeah, there we go. And that's what really bothers me, because I don't want to live the rest of my life like this. I don't think anybody does. Oh, Dre, you're back. Are you planning? I was asking, I don't know if you heard me or if you're still here, but I was asking if you are going to be leaving anytime soon, or you plan on staying for a while, or how's it going to work? You are going back? Oh, you want to stay for a while, but you're extending. Okay. Oh, there he is. Soy Dog Cowboy, what's happening? You're going to get a new visa type. Wow. Oh, you're not going anywhere. Oh, okay. Ah, okay. All right. Well, you got your wife. You need any help, I mean, let me know if you need any help, but you probably got it all covered. So, um, which one? I'm not even. You know what, Soy Dog Cowboy? I've been trying desperately to stay off the internet, because I don't want to see about politics and uh, the only thing I'm waiting to see is the fight between Dave Ledoux and this Cyrus Washington guy. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see anything on Fight News. Should be more aware of all of it. My wife handles it. Yeah. Actually, that fight might be over now. Let me see here. The one fight I'm talking about, it could be over. Let's see. Okay, all right. Well, I saw that. Let's see. Hmm. It's not telling me anything. What is the? There we go. Nope, no results yet. Doesn't look like. 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time is when this one fight starts. Where am I at here? Let's see. Sounds horrific. That's why it's called a fight. You know, it's not for the faint of heart, man. Nobody thinks about it, nobody talks about it, but it is dangerous, you know. Uh, what is it? Mountain Standard Time? What time is it now? Oh, you know what I can do? Yeah, how's Florida, soy dog? Curious to know. I was wondering how you're doing. Oh, the fight's not on for another 2 hours. Okay. Max Griffin almost severed Brahimaj ear from his head. Let's see here. Oh, wow. I'm not. Ruan Ruang scored an 8-round decision over former two-time WBO champion Pung Luang So Singyu at Bangpun Workpoint Studio, which I've been to many times. I didn't know they were fighting. Let's see here. I don't keep up with boxing anymore after everything before, but let's see here. Gamboa's fighting. Wow. You know, I haven't been watching boxing, in depth like I used to because I used to follow it intensely, and now I just don't. Uh oh. Tank Davis sought by Baltimore police in a possible hit and run. That's not good. It's really nice. I mean, it's 80, so what's not to like? We have a tropical storm coming though. Not bad. What is it right now here? It's 83, high of 87, 88 rather, and the feel like temperature here is 88. So the weather is actually pretty good. 10% chance of rain. So yeah, it looks like it's pretty good here actually, but about the same temperature. A little bit cooler there. Did you see this, Soy Dog Cowboy? Did you see what, or did you hear me talking about this new stipulation, or did you see anything that's on the Thai embassy website about the tourist single entry tourist visa and the requirements? Don't know if you saw that, but now they want, in addition to everything else, they want the tourists to show 15K, 17K, 500,000 baht, the equivalent of 500,000 baht, for 6 months in your bank account. Yeah, that's what it is. That's it right there. It's number 2.8, but I don't understand what the deal is, but I don't understand the why. I understand what they want. I just don't understand the why, and it really doesn't. It doesn't really. I mean, it's not cutting off your left nut, but it seems to me just to come to the country, it's a bit extreme. However, maybe the reason that they are doing this is to limit the number of people who can come in, and maybe later on, once everything's clear, they will just waive that. I don't know. Maybe they figure if you come in and you got that kind of money, you're going to spend a lot more money. Well, it's weird because depending on the visa, I only show an American bank account to the embassy here in New York. Well, this just came out on the 5th of this month. And this is a TR visa, single entry tourist visa. So if you're trying to get or if you're doing the retirement visa, no, this is not the same, Longhorns. This is not an STV. This is the TR visa. And it's not the same. The STV is good for 3 months, for 9 months rather. Saw a drunken European getting arrested and acting like a fool at the BTS. With as few foreigners that are here now, you would think that people would be smart and they would say, "Hey, wait a minute. You know what? All eyes are on the foreigners who are still here because you stand out like a sore thumb." I mean, really. I go somewhere, there is nobody around. And it is good to go to places and there's really no tourists to speak of as far as foreigners go. There's still Thai tourists in some places, but that's the whole thing. That's why I've got my little list and I'm going down to things. And I went a couple of weeks ago to, where was it, Kanchanaburi. I can't even count all the places that I've gone in the last just this year even. Yeah, I mean, people are going to look at you more here because now it's just like it used to be. In the old days, when I first came here, okay, if you went down in the red light district, then there would be a fair number of foreigners there. But if you went anywhere outside of the red light district or outside of Bangkok especially, there were very, very few foreigners. And even in my neighborhood, I mean, in this neighborhood, I may see one or two foreigners. I may see a foreigner 1 or 2 times a month. That's it. Maybe they're on the Song Tao or they're going to work or something on their motorcycle or whatever it might be. Well, but you got to understand that they are putting this on the Royal Thai Embassy of Washington, D.C. for a reason. So I don't believe that they're issuing these right at the moment. I thought there was a date that they had said. But, if they've got it on their website, there's a reason why. I don't know how many foreigners are in the United States looking to come to Thailand. Well, I don't know. I mean, listen, you got enough money, you might be able to get in. I've been saying that for a long time. You got enough money, chances are you can get in. You know, because the number of people who have that kind of money, and that's not really all that much when you think about it. 17 grand. Right now, it's not a good time, and I don't know why anybody would want to come over here. Um, unless the money wasn't a big deal, which is what I think maybe the Thai government is counting on. But in the future, there are people they want. I don't know. What are you going to do? You're going to people are going to just stop coming to Thailand. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to say, "Oh, I don't want to go to Thailand." But just think about it. It comes in cycles. You got some 50-year-old guy who's been coming to Thailand for a number of years, and then all of a sudden now it's like, oh, it's such a pain in the neck to come to Thailand. I'm not going to go there now. Okay, well, in another 15 years, 20 years, the guy's gone, and his son is like, oh, I heard it's difficult, but guess what? They've changed a few things now, so I'm gonna go. I really want to go. I got the money. I'm going. And if you go to Koh Samui, a lot of the hotels are closed down. A lot of places, the hotels are closed down. Dre, what did you find? How did you find Chatuchak yesterday? Americans can enter with a marriage, business, or retirement visa, but now they have the tourist visa up there on the website. There's a reason why it's on there. Show me the money. Well, Ecuador, and the thing is Ecuador is fast becoming the place. And you know what that means? That it will fast become the place that's overrun with foreigners. And I don't think that I've been to Colombia, and while I liked it, I don't think I want to live there. Maybe I could get used to whatever, but like for me, I look at it two different ways. Would I go there and live there as a single man? Yeah, I probably would if it was the best destination I could come up with. But as a married man with kids, no way. What do I need to go there for? There are other places I would prefer. But that's just me. I mean, there's a lot of people that, maybe you speak Spanish fluently. Maybe you're Latino or something. So, going to Colombia is quite simple, straightforward. For me, I'd have to learn another language, and everybody in my family would have to learn a language. I mean, we would never go there. That's just completely out of the question. I mean, even in Ecuador, it's a long. That I was thinking about it the other day. It's like, for me, it's not all that difficult here. My life here is not that bad. I don't have any problems. Getting along. I'm integrated into the society about as much as I'm gonna be, or as a foreigner can be. I'm fairly well integrated, and I know my way around. So it's not all that bad. It just, I always look at the direction of the country. But at the end of the day, as long as you're allowed to stay and there's not a lot affecting you, the fact that they have censored Pornhub and they block Pornhub and a bunch of porn sites doesn't bother me. It bothers me, the censorship. When I think about it, I go, well, I don't know if that's too good. But it's their country, it's their rules. And you know what? It doesn't really affect me. So, no big deal, So, hoops, as if I could get an ED visa, but since you can't do border runs, that's not possible, and you can't go and get an ED visa after arrival. Yeah, and I don't know, I think last I heard, it was something like you could get a 3-month ED visa and then get an extension. Well, there's an easy way around that, and that is you don't get involved with somebody who's going to scam you. You basically, you're going to have to go in. You're going to have to learn the language. You're going to have to get tested. That's how they do it. That's the bottom line. You don't want to get scammed? Use a legitimate company, or make sure that you go to a legitimate school that's highly respected, well known. You might have to pay more money, and you're going to have to put the work in. You know. Yeah, they're going to change it because the foreigners want that. This is the thing. They don't live for the foreigners. That's I mean, when I look around and I think, are the vast majority of the people in my neighborhood or around my neighborhood affected by a lack of tourists? A little bit, but not much. Now, when it comes to a place like Phuket, Pattaya, Koh Samui, Chiang Mai, okay, then of course, yes, it affects these areas greatly, or the red light districts of Bangkok and some of the hotels in Bangkok. Of course, it does. Um, and this accounts for a lot of their revenue. But I think that they've got this conservative attitude about letting people in, and it's worked for them so far, and so they look at it like, hey, we're okay for now. We're working at. They are trying things. Give them credit for that. That's the thing I give them credit for. At least they're trying things. We may not like it. It may cost more money. It may, to me, like having to wear a tracking device around. If you told me, you know what, Scott, you can come to Ecuador, but you got to wear a tracking device, I'd be like, what? No, I don't want to do that. Or if I'm going to go to Myanmar, and listen, before I knew that they were doing it, but I didn't think I was worthwhile enough to be followed in Myanmar. That's what they used to do, and I know I was followed at least once. But it's not like you have to wear something. You have to, but you did have to, and you still do. Just like now, here, when you went to a place in Myanmar, you had to account for where you were. If you were staying at somebody's house for 2 weeks, that person had to tell the government that you were there. You couldn't just go there. I mean, technically. And sometimes there were people that they'd rat on you because they wanted to get a little bit of money or whatever, score brownie points. But even now, when you go to a hotel there, they copy your hotel, they send it off to the government. The government knows where you are. So, not that much different here, Listen, I figure out maybe I'll be alive for another 20 years, 25 years. Can I handle that? Yeah, I think so. So I'll deal with whatever they dish out, For my kids, for their kids, for the future, who knows what it'll be like. But you know what? What are you going to do? You're just going to not live? You're going to live with whatever you have to live with, do it however you have to do it. What else can you do? Yeah, but you see, the thing is, Longhorns, I believe that the way that it worked before was you didn't have to leave Thailand. You could just keep renewing it at the immigration department. If no foreigners can get one because you have to leave Thailand after applying for ED visa to get it. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. They've changed the visa laws and the rules so many times and made little adjustments for so long. And like now this month is 26 years. And I can't even remember. I don't even remember the prime minister from 26 years ago. I don't remember the prime minister from 20 years ago. I don't remember all these people. I don't want it to take up the space in my head. I don't have enough room there, because it's not all that important. But you got to do what you got to do for the time being. And the thing is that the sooner you get a retirement visa, if you get it as soon as you can, then unless something drastic happens, you're probably locked in and grandfathered to that amount. So if you were here before, say, I don't know what it was, 20 years ago or something like that, 25 years ago, and you had to show 500,000 baht. And then they raised it to 800. You don't have to, as long as you continually have your retirement visa and stay of extension, your stay of extension, then they grandfather it so that you still just show 500,000. I'm not having a celebration. It is what it is. I've stopped celebrating all these things. Although I will celebrate my kid's birthday next week. Nicholas turns 18 in a couple of days. That's a big, monumental occasion in a young man's life. Celebrate with Sid. Listen, when Sid is mellow, I like him. He's fine. When he's mellow and he's been cleaned and he doesn't smell, he's fine. I like him. He's a good little cat. He's a happy little friendly cat. He's not a mean, aggressive, nasty cat. And I like that. But he can still get on your nerves. I don't want him in. There's two things I don't want. He's not allowed in my bedroom, and he's not allowed on the kitchen table. Or in the kitchen on the sink or whatever, on the cabinet and everything. He's not allowed up anywhere, any of those places. Other than that, I'm easy. I like animals. Anyway, what else was I going to talk about here? I got a list of things. I've talked about most of them. Like I said, the Thai Airways selling the planes. I still don't understand how come they can't make a profit. But there was a Thai that returned, and he died of COVID. The 60th person to die. He was wasn't he a retired cop? He was a retired official. He returned from the UK. Yeah. He returned from the UK, and he was 66 years old. He had diabetes and high blood pressure. And it says he returned from the UK on October 19th, stayed at a state quarantine facility in Chonburi, tested positive on the 20th, and he died on November 5th. Wow. So imagine that. On the 20th of October, you're alive. You find out you got the COVID, and then 2 weeks later, you're dead. Pretty sad. So that's number 60. But still, 60 people is minimal. A Swiss financial expert, 68, who arrived on October 22nd and stayed at an alternative state quarantine facility in Bangkok, tested negative on October 22nd, but positive on November 4th, or day 13. He was asymptomatic. He received treatment at a private hospital. I don't even know what to say about this COVID. I don't know what to say about the COVID, the politics, all this kind of stuff. Does it affect me directly? Not right now. I haven't seen any protests going on. Supposedly there's supposed to be one today, but I haven't seen really anything going on in the way of the protests. Nothing. Which is a good thing. I'm all for people having the right to protest, but right now is probably not a good time to be overly concerned about protesting simply because of the COVID. High risk person with diabetes and high blood pressure. Yeah. Let me see something else here. Doing business, consular services, visas. You know, I'll give you an idea of. Now, I obviously have not had to come back into Thailand and work on my extension and or getting a new visa or anything like that. I haven't had to do any of that, and I don't want to because I don't want to have to deal with it. But I will give you an idea of the basically what people go through from what I've been told, from what I know. Although it is, you've got to get, it's just like dealing with the government anywhere. Just like getting your retirement visa here, your marriage visa here. You got to have all your ducks in a row. If you have all your ducks in a row, prices go up. I don't see, the hotel prices will go up. But I see, some things I see as they've already gone up. Food prices have gone up. So at least in certain areas. Well, especially in the tourist areas, But what was I talking about here? The it's a matter of getting your ducks in a row. That's what everything's about. If you have everything that they want, you'll be able to get in, assuming you can do those things, whatever it is that they want you to do. If you can do everything they want you to do, it's going to take some time. It's going to be might be a little nerve-wracking to get everything right. It's going to be a bit tedious, and you like I always say, you gotta dot your I's and cross your T's, get your ducks all in a row, and then you'll be able to get in. If you can't get everything that they want, then forget it. You're not going to get in. That's how it works. It's not, I couldn't get it because I wasn't really, I wasn't able to because they weren't open on that date. Nobody cares. All they care about is, do you have everything we require, yes or no? Yes. Boom, you're going to get in. No. Okay, sorry, sir. But. And one way one thing that I liken this to is the 90-day report. So many people complain about this 90-day report. And while I don't like having to report in to anybody, for any reason, I don't like reporting into my wife, and she don't like reporting into me. And, maybe that's why we get along. Because, why do I have to? Okay, but, the government says you have to. You're a guest in the, in the country. Okay, I understand. I'll do it. Okay. But then you got people that complain about it all the time. It's such a pain in the ass. It's so difficult. No, it's not. It takes you 5 minutes if you go online. Go online, fill everything out. You're done in 5 minutes. It's simple. But you have to take the 5 minutes, sit down, make sure everything's correct. You're going to have to get your, all the numbers that you need, your passport number and your TM6, and get the dates right and all that. And you're going to have to go into your local immigration department first. I used to report it through the mail. And, I thought, listen, what do I have to do? I have to go over and make copies of my passport, various pages, sign them, self-addressed stamped envelope. I had to do all these things. Even that, I was like, okay, listen, I send it out. It's registered mail. Gets there in a couple of days. I make sure I send it out 15 days before. They get it. I get it back. Boom. Done. That's it. Now, it takes a little longer if you're doing it that way than doing it online. But even that, I'd go over to the mall. I'm like, I'm going to the mall anyway. I'd go upstairs, chit-chat with a couple of the girls who were doing all the copying. Done. Send it out for me. Okay, here you go. Boom. Might cost me, 90 baht or something like that. Give them the 90 baht. They send it out. End of story. Now you can do it online. You got to go in the first time to immigration, but after that, you do it online, and it's very easy. But again, if you just if you're the kind of person who, like, when you're filling out your, listen, there's a lot of people that when they go to fill some application out, whether it's a job application, an application for your passport, they're like, and they sit down and it takes them forever to fill it out, and they're not sure. Well, what should I put here? Well, it says name, it says last name, or family name. What is your family name? There are some people that are just they have a hard time filling out applications. But if you take the time and do it, it'll get done, and it's not that difficult. You just have to take the time and do it. And that's kind of, you're getting to that point now, not to mention that you need to have the right amount of money. So is it jumping through hoops? Yeah, it is. It's just a matter of how much you want to come here. And see, for me, I look at it like, would I come here for my wife and kids? Yeah, of course. Would I come here for some bar girl because I want to get a piece of ass? No, I wouldn't. I mean, if you really want it that bad, I'm sure back home you could find it. It might cost you more money than the girl here, but then you don't have to fly all the way over here and go through all the hassle. You know what I mean? So, like, whatever floats your boat. But anyway. Non-Thai nationals who have a certificate of residence who are permitted to take up residence in the kingdom, including their spouse, who are spouses or children. See, the good thing is my kids have their Thai passport and their U.S. passport, so that's fantastic. We don't have to worry about them. Although, if one of them goes out of the country in the next 6 months or a year, we may have to worry about it, Anyway, at the end of the day, as long as you're safe, Thailand's going to be here. It's not going anywhere, Some of the girls will wait for you. Yeah, they're going to be sitting on their bar stool waiting for you to come back. I mean, there'll be there's one word. Next, there'll be another one, and that's what's the beauty of, if you're coming here and you want to go bar hopping and you want to go, boozing and whoring, well, Thailand's a great, it's a great place for that. In addition to everything else it has to offer, it is a great place for that. And, if you're able to come over, the good thing is there's going to be less competition. Not that that really matters. Next is that became my mantra, because when I was younger, when I was here, I'd meet one and I'd go, oh wow, she's fantastic, wow, she's so great. A couple days later, she'd go do whatever she's gonna do, or I'd be like, I'm kind of sick of her, and then it'd be like, all right, next, just go somewhere else. There'll be another one. There's another one right around the corner. It's like going to 7-Eleven. I hate to put it that way, but that's the truth. I don't know, Dre. I don't know. Why? Why ask why? I mean, it just happens. Like I used to say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. But that's the other thing. But see, Dre, when you come here as a newbie, it's easy to get caught up in that because you don't speak their language. Maybe you don't know where to hang out. You're not with a buddy, or you don't have any buddies here that could show you around. And this is something that there's a lot of guys go through that. So they hang out in the bars in the beginning. Then they start to learn the ropes, and they start to learn a little bit of Thai, and the next thing they know, they go, hey, like, this chick is like, she graduated from 8th grade, and, all she wants is me to pay for everything, and she wants me to build her mother and father a house and buy them cars and do all these other things, which, listen, everybody likes to have a good life, If I needed girls that bad, I'd just fly to Mexico, but I don't care. But if you're in Oklahoma, then you can go after your sister or cousin. Oh, you in the Oklahoma. Texans really hate Oklahoma, huh? Could say the same thing about somewhere like Tennessee, but I don't know. I like Tennessee, but I never was there long enough to get involved with anybody there. So I wasn't thinking like, Anyway, we're getting carried away again. Anyway, thank you all for joining me. I appreciate it. If you would be so kind, please leave a thumbs up. Remember to share this video. Remember to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Subscribing is a good thing. Click that little notification bell. And look down in the description. You can visit my website, americaninbangkok.com. You can get a t-shirt, and you still got, I don't know, a little bit of time. I don't know how much time, maybe a few minutes to get a t-shirt and get the discount. 10% discount. Let's see here. Here's the code. Let me put it in here. Use the code RED 2020 in the Teespring, my website, for the merch, to purchase merch from my shop, to purchase my books. There's links down there. Amazon shop, Patreon, cryptocurrency, social media. I hate social media. I'm gonna do away with I've been saying it for a while. I'm gonna deactivate my Facebook and my Twitter because I'm sick and tired of all I see is politics and bullshit and people doing stupid stuff, and I don't care about it anymore. Now I look at my phone and I go, do I have a book on there I want to read? Do I have a movie I want to watch? Should I watch Netflix, or do I want to listen to some music? And now I'm not saying, I want to go and look at this, see what's going on in the news, or it's not happening anymore. I don't do it as much because I'm just sick and tired. Even Instagram, I'm sick of it. And there's part of me that wants to get rid of Instagram as well. I'll have my websites, and I'll have YouTube, and I'm not ready to give up Instagram yet, but maybe in the future, hopefully sooner than later. I just don't get it anymore. To me, it's more of a irritant than anything else. I think it does change your perspective and your outlook on things too. So, perfect examples. If I go on my social media after I get off of this stream, and I start looking around, I might go, I can't believe this. Look what this happened. These people are saying this. They never stop. And then I got people messaging me and sending. And it's like, I don't even want to know about it. Like, all I want to do now is I want to go outside. It's a nice, cool day. Head on over and get something to eat for lunch. Get a nice little Thai meal or whatever, and have a nice day. I think Sid's already on his way right now to getting neutered. So I'd like to be here for Sid when he comes back to see how the poor little guy's doing. But yeah, anyway. Thank you again, and I guess, let me see here if I can put this music back on. It's the same song, but hey, it's not bad. Not a bad little tune. Here we go. No copyright violation for this one. certain people, but I thought, I'm not going to do it that way. You know, belittling someone online is not really my style. You know, I'd rather do it face to face. It's a lot more pleasurable. But I can throw them out. You know what I mean? Twitter, see you later. Facebook, see you later. It's easy. You say bye. Adios. Anyway. Until next time, I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok, Tokyo, Put and mine. Just good luck and see you later. Bastard, got more penis. There's a solution for that. You can always move to Ireland.